Oh, fuck the hell, yes.
Doom 2016 is one of the greatest examples of me sleeping on a game for far too long. I remember the first time I saw this game and was the day that my dad got an Xbox Game Pass subscription that didn't last long and him trying to play it but ended up dying on one of the first levels to a zombie. That moment also traumatized me for a time because the most mature game I played at the time was Halo 3 ODST, and I had never seen someone's flesh get ripped off in a game until that very moment. This was also a time I had this weird little sixth sense where I knew how well a game was received without doing a whole lot of research. And I never really understood why until I grew some balls and watched Markiplier play it, along with actually playing it myself a couple years later. When I did get to play it, oh man, what an experience that was. Developed by id Software and Panic Button Studios, Doom 2016 is a fast-paced first-person shooter that is an excellent return to form after the minor failure that was Doom 3. It was the first Doom game I completed from front to back, and is a game I revisit yearly. If you all really want to know if this game is good, then fuck yeah, it's good. In fact, I encourage you to go play it right now and come back when you're done. I'll be right here. If you're one of the poor souls that doesn't have this game, you can pick it up for the Xbox One at your local game exchange for $10, or you can get it on Switch for $20.
Damn good deal.
The story does kind of have a lot of setup, and to make a long story short, Dr. Olivia Pierce has unleashed a hell portal and released a horde of demons onto the UAC base on Mars. Doom Guy, now known as the Doomslayer, is awakened from his slumber by the head of the facility, Dr. Samuel Hayden. After everything has gone to hell and back, literally and figuratively, this is where the Doomslayer gets his objectives, which are to kill Olivia Pierce and close down the hell portal. Most of the story is told through cutscenes, and the background story is told through logs you find. I know this is the point where I really dig into the story and give my thoughts on it, but when I think of Doom 2016, I'm usually thinking of the gameplay. Is that to say it's bad? Fuck no. The story is awesome and still the third weakest part of this game. I definitely have to give credit to Darren D. Paul, because my god does he bring Dr. Hayden to life by giving him a deep, raspy voice. I love that shit. The developers also gave him an echo, kind of like he was talking through a helmet, and is it good? However, enough about the story, let's talk about the actual good shit. The level-to-level gameplay is this beautiful mixture of classic Doom and of some of the more modern stuff. You'll collect keycards, kill hordes of demons, find secrets, and also complete some objectives. The main focus of the gameplay is combat, and it has a couple different components. The components are your weapons, glory kills, power-ups, and upgrades. Your weapons are your main bread and butter for combat, and you have your standard Doom loadout along with a couple new additions. Your two backup weapons in case you run out of ammo are your chainsaw and the pistol. The pistol is a very basic backup weapon that I think even Halo's plasma pistol beats out. It does low damage but has infinite ammo and, like our purple little friend, it can be charged up to deal more damage. However, if you want your ammo back more quickly, may I suggest the humble chainsaw. It runs on fuel and has a dedicated button for you to pull it out. Using it on enemies consumes fuel and locks you into a glory kill that gives you a fountain of ammo. Your two starter workhorse weapons are the humble shotgun and the heavy assault rifle. The shotgun is, well, it's a shotgun. It does just the right amount of damage and is extremely effective at close range. It's perfect for almost every occasion until you get the super shotgun. The heavy assault rifle is an assault rifle that fires 50 BMG but feels and looks like it shoots 5.56. Anyways, it's basically a weaker version of the chain gun that is better suited for longer ranges, or when you need to shower the enemy with bullets now rather than 5 seconds later. That brings us to the chain gun, which is basically the same as in every other Doom game, but it's better for close range and requires a wind-up time to get damage out quickly. Your plasma-based weapons are the plasma rifle and the Gauss cannon. The plasma rifle functions how it did in previous Doom games in that it's fast and effective. The Gauss cannon is the closest equivalent to a sniper rifle in this game, that consumes more plasma ammo but does hefty damage. Then you have the rocket launcher, which is nothing special. The only thing that makes this rocket launcher special is that it doesn't do a fuck ton of damage, but does just enough to do what needs to be done. No Doom game is complete without the two most classic and awesome weapons of all time, that might as well have been crafted by God himself, the Super Shotgun and the BFG 9000.
A blessing from the Lord. God be praised.
The Super Shotgun is probably the best weapon in the game and is the only one that needs to be reloaded. It's a double-barrel shotgun that does high damage but consumes shotgun ammo very quickly. It retails for about $109.95, has a walnut stock, cobalt blue steel, and a hair trigger.
Shop smart. Shop S-smart.
It's also a weapon I found weirdly ironic because I don't usually associate a double-barrel shotgun with something powerful. If you're wondering how powerful it could possibly be, it can turn anything standing on the business end of it into a fine paste if it's feeling merciful. I've seen a singular shot tear through 3 imps at once, and there was this other time I saw the pellets on the edge of the spread tear a demon clean in half. I mean, what the fuck is this thing firing? 12 gauge or punt gun shells?
Your affinity for guns is apparent.
Finally, you have the big fucking gun 9000, your fuck all solution to demon crowd control. It fires a green orb that upgrades any demonic son of a bitch dumb enough to get in front of you. The only downside to this weapon is that it's limited to 3 total shots, so try to make them count. I almost forgot to talk about grenades since they're one of the weaker aspects, and they're easily forgotten. It's not to say they're bad, in fact they're quite useful. Frag grenades are, well, they're frag grenades. They damage any enemy in their area of effect. Holographic grenades spawn a hologram of you that distracts enemies and fires a plasma gun at them. And siphon grenades leech health off of enemies within its area of effect. Again, they're not bad, but they're easily forgotten about because they don't really add much to the flow of combat, and I bet you could go the whole game without using a singular grenade. Once you get an enemy to low enough health, you can then perform a glory kill that gives you a sizable load of health. They lock you into a very short and quick animation that is as fun to watch as it is fucking brutal. No Doom game is complete without some absolutely useful power-ups. One must-have power-up is Berserk, which limits you to your fists, but every time you hit an enemy, you instantly glory kill them. Berserk also has a habit of playing Mama Said Knock You Out, featuring Tech 9 by 5 Finger Death Punch. Or at least, I wish it did. Invulnerability is self-explanatory, and haste gives you quicker movement speed. Finally, you have quad damage, taken directly from Quake, that instantly increases all of your weapons' effectiveness by a multiplication of 4. Almost all parts of the Slayer can be upgraded. Upgrades are done by finding weapon upgrade bots, spending weapon or suit upgrade points, or completing runes. Weapon upgrade bots give you attachments to your weapons that you can remove at any time through the menu. You usually get 2 attachments for almost all of your weapons except for the pistol and super shotgun since they only get 1 upgrade branch, and the chainsaw and BFG since they don't have any. Each attachment can be upgraded for up to 4 times, with that final upgrade having to be unlocked by completing a mastery challenge. Pretty much every aspect of your suit can be upgraded, and I won't get into the specifics, but you can upgrade anything from how the map screen works to power-up effectiveness. Weapon and suit upgrades can be gained by completing level challenges and finding secrets. You can also increase your health, armor, and ammo capacity by finding Argent cells, and there are enough in the game to max out all 3 aspects. Aid made the smart move to make combat very active and mobile, unlike a lot of shooters of the time where you can just cheese enemies and shoot behind cover. There are some areas where you can sit back and shoot, but those areas are few and far between. Movement is the name of the game, and demons will make you move by either you having to chase their ass down, or them bum rushing the shit out of you and beating you to death. If you stand still long enough, so move like you got a purpose. You may be wondering why you'd have to chase the demons down? Well, that's for the simple reason that they are afraid of you. And that leads to the best summary of the combat, as stated by one famous review. You're not trapped in hell with the demons are trapped in hell with you. Remember, the only thing they fear is you. In fact, the only problem with this kind of combat is that you can't marvel the amazing gore effects. You'll see demonic spines, guts, and I think I even saw one's lungs. Seriously, these giblets are good, and I think the only game that I've played that has a better gore system by just a little bit is Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. I'd recommend playing on Hurt Me Plenty for your first run to get a feel for the game, and then playing on Ultraviolence to get the ultimate experience because it's an actual fair challenge even for a fucking casual like myself. It's just the right amount of hard. So it's something I see a lot of games struggle with, Halo being the best example, because I went through a run of the first 4 games on Heroic, and there was a great many times, mainly in Halo 2, where I died to some bullshit. In Doom 2016, you can easily die in 2 hits, but every hit is on you, my friend. Once you get used to the combat though, and are able to get through a combat encounter with barely a scratch, you'll feel like your determination is incorruptible. From the other side of terror to behold, as demons will know that annihilation will be unavoidable. Every broken enemy will know that their opponent had to be indestructible. The weapons are also handled fantastically. They aren't too powerful, but have that right amount of punch. Also, something I just realized, that the dynamic of the heavy assault rifle and the chain gun are another thing taken directly from Quake, because they act almost the exact same as the nail gun and super nail gun from Quake. The gameplay as a whole is just so good that I forget to record sometimes.
It's perfection, Walter.
And we haven't even gotten to the soundtrack. Anyone worth their salt who's into metal and or soundtracks knows about the Doom 2016 soundtrack composed by Mick Gordon. I've listened to the soundtrack more times than I've beaten the game, and it's probably the biggest reason why I'm into metal. It really shows how Mick knows his way around a soundboard, and he takes cues from Bobby Prince's soundtrack, and even takes inspiration from some of the bands that Bobby Prince took from, specifically Metallica. If you're wondering how, go listen to a Metallica song, and one of the biggest similarities between them and Mick Gordon's tracks are that they have long windups that are always worth it. Most of the soundtrack are these very heavy metal and actiony pieces that go so fucking hard. Even the main menu music, Hellwalker, goes hard. The rest are either Slayer testaments or short horror pieces that are also pretty good. Not my favorite, but still quality material. My absolute favorite track is Rust, Dust, and Guts, and those constant beat drops are just fucking awesome. The easiest track to digest is Rip and Tear. It's arguably the weakest track, but it's far from bad. Tracks you should absolutely try are realistically all of them, but the ones I definitely recommend are Flesh and Metal, BFG Division, At Doom's Gate, Mastermind, Skull Hacker, and Vega Core. It's a soundtrack that you want to put on full blast as God intended, and it's what I do when I play on my Switch, which you can actually feel shaking if you do that. If all you wanted was more Doom, then Doom 2016 has got you mostly covered, with 3 alternate modes excluding the multiplayer. Those modes are the Retro Levels, Arcade Mode, and Snapmap. The Retro Levels are taken directly from Doom 1 and 2. You gain them by finding levers in the campaign levels and going to a nearby room that was previously locked. Not all the levels are here because there's only 13 campaign levels, but what you do have ain't bad. You get most of Doom 1's first episode and the first 2 levels of Doom 2. These levels are also still allow you to use the modern movement system, which offers up new ways to play these levels. Bonus points go for also including the option of a classic weapons pose. Every time I play the campaign, I try to get all of these levels. Your other campaign mode is Arcade Mode, and this allows you to play the main campaign's levels with campaign scoring and without all the story. Killing demons raises your score and score multiplier. You can also shoot mines that are floating around to kill a huge horde of demons in a radius that also drops a d20 for you to pick up to increase your score. There's also a life system for each level, because if you die, you have to restart the entire level unless you have an extra life, where you can respawn at the nearest checkpoint. But I wouldn't recommend using it because using extra life takes away a lot of your score. This mode also gives you all the upgrades for all the weapon suit, all the weapons, suit, and runes. It also removes the secrets and most of the cutscenes, so you can just focus on completing the level with as much score as possible. Snapmap is basically Halo 5's Forge mode, again, it taking cues from the best, not Halo 5 as a whole, but just the Forge. Unlike Halo 5's Forge, you can play some of the maps offline, but you are required to have an online account like Xbox Live to download maps. You have 16 maps available from the get-go, and they aren't bad, but only one of the maps given actually feels like Doom. Every other map is something like Duck Hunt or Dance Dance Revolution. In fact, that last one I think is one of the first available game types you can play on there. I would show footage of Snapmap, but I'm recording this all through my Switch, which doesn't have Snapmap. Speaking of the Switch port, let's talk about that. Usually when someone says that a game has a Switch port, a person would usually think about how butchered the actual port is due to games like Mortal Kombat, Payday 2, and The Outer Worlds. However, Doom 2016 on the Switch is not half bad. In fact, the only real sacrifice it had to make was the Snapmap. It looks virtually identical to the Xbox version, which is my only point of reference. There are some visual issues here and there, like some of the textures not loading fully and the Praetor suit looking a little too bright for my taste, but that's about it. I was also shocked to learn just how little brain rewiring I had to do, because it controls exactly like the Xbox version. If you wanted to play Doom 2016 on the go, this is probably one of the cheapest and best ways to do it. It's so good that I almost wanted to buy Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Almost. I'm not a big fan of the modern Wolfenstein games, and I have not heard good things about New Colossus. It's also a game that I can point to and say bullshit when someone says the Switch port is crappy because of the hardware limitations. The developers were able to make this game work fully and work around those limitations with minimal sacrifices. However, not all games are perfect, and I do have 2 issues with the game. For one, I don't like how the Super Shotgun essentially replaces the shotgun completely. In Doom 2 and 64, the Super Shotgun was used for close quarters crowd control, and the shotgun could be used to conserve ammo and could be used at longer distances. In Doom 3, the shotgun was a little more reliable than the Super Shotgun, and could also be used for ammo conservation along with its ammo capacity. Even in Doom Eternal, the shotgun could do plenty of things that the Super Shotgun couldn't do. And I'll get to that when I eventually get to the energy to run that game on Ultraviolence again. It'll be a while, and hopefully I'll have all the DLCs by that time, though. However, here in 2016, once you get the Super Shotgun, there's basically no reason to go back to using the regular shotgun unless it's to complete challenges. I'm also not a big fan of how you start a new game. You're limited to 3 save games, and if you don't want to start a new game from scratch as God intended, you would have to erase one of your saves. Whatever happened to having save games like the ones in Half-Life 2, Doom 3, or even in the original Doom? With all that said and done, I counted a total of 46 points, with 40 being good and 6 being bad, linked to a base score of 87%. For the Switch port, I counted a total of 49 points, with 43 being good and 6 being bad, leading to a base score of 87.75%. If you couldn't tell by the amount of sucking off I was doing, of course had a lot of fun playing both versions of the game, bringing the score up to a total of 100% for both versions. If I had to sum up this game in as few words as possible, I'd be quoting Matthew C. Sandler and say, way to take the words right out of my mouth. That's all I'll have to say, so have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever you celebrate, I don't judge. And have a Happy New Year. Oh, just one more thing, and I'll get out of you, hey. If we can get an H-Doom mod for Doom 2016, then my life will be complete. However, the chances of that are about as good as any of us actually getting laid tonight. But I don't know, much like the Nazis, those demons do look kind of rapey.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh, who the fuck am I offending? The Nazis?